Good evening, students. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is the second session of your chapter Is Matter Around Us Pure? In the previous session, we have covered the classification of matter. That is, one is in pure substance, another one is impure substance or mixture. That definition, the classification of elements, classification of compounds, their properties. And in this session, we will study the rest of the topic. That is your type of mixtures. How we can separate mixtures, what are the process, and 2 or 3 topics. Clear? So the first is your type of mixtures. Type of mixtures. First is your types of mixtures. Now mixtures are classified on the basis of their physical states and on the basis of their miscibility. Mixtures are classified on the basis of their physical states, number one, and second on the basis of their miscibility. So the first criteria on the basis of their physical state. On the basis of their physical state, mixtures are classified as solid, liquid and gas. That means a mixture of solid and solid, a mixture of liquid solid, liquid liquid, liquid gas, a mixture of gas solid, gas liquid and gas gas. Clear? So just let me write solid, this is liquid and this is gas. Clear? And this is solid, this is liquid and this is gas. So a mixture of solid solid, mixture of solid liquid, mixture of solid gas. Next a mixture of liquid solid, mixture of liquid liquid, mixture of liquid gas, and lastly mixture of gas solid, mixture of gas liquid and mixture of gas gas. So first mixture of solid and solid. Example will be your salt and sugar. This is a mixture of solid and solid. Next, solid and liquid. Example is your salt and water. Salt and water. This is a mixture of solid and liquid. Solid is your salt and liquid is water. Next, solid gas. Solid gas mixture is dust in air. Dust in air, dust particles in air. Dust particle is solid and air is gas. That therefore it is a mixture of solid gas. Next, liquid solid. Liquid solid like mercury and copper. This is a mixture of solid, liquid solid, because mercury is liquid and copper is solid. Therefore it is a mixture of liquid solid. Next, liquid liquid mixture, that is alcohol in water. That is liquid liquid mixture, or you can say alcohol and water. So this is a mixture of liquid and liquid because both are liquid. Next, liquid gas example is your clouds are the example of liquid and gas. Next, gas and solid example will be hydrogen and palladium. This is a mixture of gas and solid. Hydrogen is a gas and palladium is a metal. Which is solid. So this is an example of gas solid mixture. Next, gas liquid mixture is your oxygen and water. This is a mixture of gas and liquid. Oxygen is your gas and water is your liquid. So this is a mixture of gas and liquid, oxygen and water. And lastly, gas mixture. Gas mixture is your air, because air is composed of various gases: nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, methane. Various gases are the mixtures. Clear? So gas mixture will be your air. So this is the one type of classification on the basis of their physical state. Clear? Just note it down or take a screenshot, you will write later. Next criteria on the basis of their miscibility, on the basis of miscibility, on the basis of miscibility. Now miscibility means how mixtures can be mixed with one another, how mixtures can be mixed with one another, that is your miscibility. Clear? So on the basis of miscibility, the mixtures are classified into two types. One is your homogeneous mixture, another one is your heterogeneous mixture. One is your homogeneous mixture, another one is your heterogeneous mixture. So let us write first, one is your homogeneous mixture and another one is your heterogeneous mixture. Clear? Now what is homogeneous mixture? Homogeneous mixture mainly composed of single phase. Single phase means, that means either solid or liquid or gas. Single phase, that is your homogeneous mixture. That means solid solid, liquid liquid or gas gas. Single phase. Heterogeneous mixture means consist of more than two phase. That is two phase or more than two phase. That is your heterogeneous mixture. So homogeneous mixture number one, it consists of your single phase. It consists of single phase. And in case of heterogeneous mixture, it consists of two or more phases. Two or more phases. This is S. Two or more phases. Clear? Next, homogeneous mixture is a uniform composition. Uniform composition means in the mixture all the particles are uniformly mixed with each other. That is, in the mixture at every corners you will find the particles. In mixture at every corner you will find the particles. That means the mixture is homogeneous. Mixture is uniform. All the particles are uniformly mixed. That means at every corner in the mixture you will find the particles. That is your uniform composition or uniform mixture. So it is a one type of uniform mixture, or you can say uniform composition. That means all the particles are uniformly mixed with each other. So homogeneous mixture is a uniform composition. It is a uniform composition. Number two, it is not uniform. Heterogeneous mixture is not uniform. That means at every corner in the mixture, at every corner you cannot find the particles. Clear? So this is a non-uniform composition, or you can say it doesn't have uniform composition. The same meaning. You can say it is a non-uniform composition, or you can say it doesn't have uniform composition. So it does not have uniform composition. Next, what is the example of homogeneous mixture? Example of homogeneous mixture will be your sugar dissolved in water or salt dissolved in water. That will be your homogeneous mixture. So you can write sugar or salt, you can say salt also, dissolved in water. This is your homogeneous mixture. And heterogeneous mixture, suppose air is your heterogeneous mixture, because in air various gases are mixed with each other and the percentage of each gases are different. For example, nitrogen constitute almost 78% in air. Oxygen, it constitute almost 20% in air. That means the percentage of all the gases in air are different. So that is your non-uniform composition. That means all the gases are not properly or uniformly mixed. The percentage of every gases is different. That is your non-uniform composition. That means heterogeneous mixture. So air is your heterogeneous mixture, or you can say sand and common salt. If you mix these two, that is sand and common salt, it will not be properly mixed. If you try to mix sand with common salt, it will not be properly mixed. That means it is a heterogeneous mixture. So these are the types on the basis of their miscibility. There are two types of mixture on the basis of their miscibility. One is your homogeneous mixture and the another one is your heterogeneous mixture. Clear? Now next topic is your how can we separate mixtures? How can we separate mixtures? How can we separate mixtures, or how can we separate constituents from any mixture? So the point is your separating of components of a mixture. Separating of the components, or you can say separating the components of the mixture. Separating the components of the mixture. Now the components of a heterogeneous mixture can be separated by various processes. Listen carefully. The components of heterogeneous mixture, not homogeneous mixture, because in homogeneous mixture the components cannot be separated. In homogeneous mixture the components cannot be separated, because in homogeneous mixture the components are uniformly mixed with each other. Clear? So the components cannot be separated in homogeneous mixture, but in heterogeneous mixture, as the components are not uniformly mixed or not properly mixed, so those components can be separated. Clear? So the mixture here is a heterogeneous mixture, not homogeneous. The mixture here is heterogeneous mixture. Clear? Now there are various processes. Now let us first start with the simple methods. So simple methods of separation are like hand picking. This is a method. You can separate the components using your hand, that is your hand picking. Next is your sieving, using a net or something, sieving. And next part will be your winnowing. So this is the simple method. Simple methods are hand picking, sieving and winnowing. Next, special techniques. There are some special techniques or special methods. Special techniques involves, like number one comes evaporation. This is the first special technique. Evaporation, there is a mixture of salt and water or sugar and water. Evaporation, that is the mixture should be a salt and water or sugar and water. So you can evaporate, you can separate the components by evaporation. The mixture should be salt and water or sugar and water. Clear? So evaporation, a mixture of salt and water, a mixture of salt and water or sugar and water. Mixture of salt and water or sugar and water. So this mixture is separated by evaporation. Next special technique is your centrifugation. Next special technique is your centrifugation. So the mixtures are butter from curd. This can be separated. There is butter from curd can be separated using centrifugation. Next, fine mud particles suspended in water. This also can be separated. That means if you mix mud with water, so there are some fine particles over water. So those fine particles you can separate from the suspended in water by centrifugation process. The next process is your decantation. Decantation, it will be used by using separating funnel. Separating funnel, that means decantation is a process. It is used to separate components using a separating funnel. So mixture should be oil from water. Oil from water. We know that is oil and water never mixed with each other. So oil from water can be separated using decantation by using a separating funnel. The next special technique is your sublimation. Sublimation means solid to gas, conversion of solid directly to gas, that is your sublimation. So sublimation, the mixture should be camphor from salt. So if you separate camphor from salt, that is the process should be sublimation. Next, chromatography. This is also a special type of technique, chromatography. In chromatography process, different pigments means different colors from flower petals are separated. Now flower petals, the flower petals are very colorful. We know the flower petals are colorful because of the different type of pigments. Clear? Flower petals are colorful due to the different type of pigments. Now we know that chlorophyll is a pigment. With the use of chlorophyll, plant can prepare food, and with the help of chlorophyll also the leaf of the plant looks green. So why the leaf of the plant looks green? Because due to the presence of this chlorophyll pigment. Clear? So different flower petals having different colors. So those colors are due to the different pigments. Now those pigments can be separated. Using this chromatography technique. So we will write different pigments from an extract of flower petals. This is P, petals. So different pigments from an extract of flower petals. So it is separated by chromatography technique. Next, just take a screenshot. I will erase the upper portion because space is not available. Next technique is here. So chromatography was process to separate different pigments. Next process is your distillation and fractional distillation. Next process is your distillation and fractional distillation. So it is a process of separating petroleum. Now petroleum is a mixture of petrol, diesel, kerosene, all the petroleum products. So petroleum can be separated by distillation and fractional distillation. By this process, from petroleum, petrol, diesel, kerosene are separated. So separating we will write separating components from petroleum. Clear? The process is your distillation and fractional distillation. Last process is your magnetic separation. It is done by using a magnet. Now if you want to separate iron objects from a mixture, suppose say sand, so you will use a magnet to separate iron objects from sand or any other objects. So the process is your magnetic separation. You will do this process with the use of a magnet. That's why the process is your magnetic separation. That means iron objects or iron pins, or you can say iron pins from sand. So these are the different process of separating components from the different mixture. These are the different process. Clear? So this is complete. Next we will study two process or two changes. One is your physical change and the another one is your chemical change. There are two type of changes. One is your physical change
and another one is your chemical change. Now what is physical change and what is chemical change? So number one is your physical change and number two is your chemical change. Now what is physical change and what is chemical change? Physical change means a change that do not physical change means a change that do not result in the production of new substance. That means it is a change involving do not production of a new substance. That means in this process no new substance will be formed. In physical change no new substance will be formed. On the other hand, in chemical change new substance will be formed. That means it is the process of production of new substance or another substance. Clear? So just write the definition first. So what is the physical change? It is a process that changes. It is a process that changes that do not result in the production of new substance. Do not. Physical change is a process that changes that do not result in the production of new substance. It is a changes that do not result in the production of new substance. And on the other hand, chemical change, it changes that result in the production of you can write in the production of new substance or another substance. In the production of another substance. Clear? Now the first this is a physical change. Now in physical change new substance is formed, and in chemical change in physical change no new substance is formed, and in chemical change new substance is formed. So this is the second difference. This was the definition of physical change. What is physical change and what is chemical change is actually. So the second difference of physical change and chemical change is your no new substance is formed, and in chemical change new substance is formed. A new substance is formed. Clear? Third difference is properties of constituent elements or substance is retained. That means the mixture is composed of various constituent particles. So the property of the constituent particles or substance is same as that of the mixture in case of physical change. But in case of chemical change, the properties of the constituent particles will be different from the mixture. Clear? So we will write properties of constituent elements or substances is retained or same. You can write same or is retained. Whereas in case of chemical change the properties will change. Properties of constituent elements or substances changes. Clear? Next difference is physical change does not involve loss or gain of heat. That means loss of heat or gain of heat. That means absorption of heat. Loss of heat means release of heat, and gain of heat means absorption of heat. That means loss of heat or gain of heat, that means absorption of heat or release of heat, will not be found in physical change. In physical change, loss of heat or gain of heat is not found. That means it is a change that does not involve loss of heat or gain of heat. On the other hand, chemical change, as it is a chemical change, that means loss of it or gain of it will be found. So in physical change we will write change does not involve loss or gain of it. Change does not involve loss or gain of it. On the other hand, in chemical change, loss or gain of heat may be involved in this reaction, or you can say loss or gain of it may be involved. Clear? Now what is the second, or you can say last difference? Physical change. The physical change is a generally reversible process, and chemical change is generally irreversible. So physical change we will write it is generally a reversible process, and chemical change it is generally an irreversible one. Now what is the example of physical change? Like melting, freezing, cutting, all these are your physical change. And chemical change means it is irreversible. That means you cannot reverse back the process. Clear? You cannot reverse back the process. So chemical change example will be like rusting, burning, cooking. That will be your chemical change. So I will write examples. You will write examples. The space is not available. That's why I have written on the top. So example is your like melting. These are physical change, reversible. Your freezing, or you can say cutting. All these are your physical changes. That means the process is reversible. You can get back the substance. That is your melting, freezing, cutting. These are physical change example. And chemical change, you cannot get back the substance. That is because it is a irreversible change. So example is your like cooking, rusting, burning. These are your chemical changes. So these are chemical changes and physical changes. What is physical change and what is chemical change? Their difference, their example, this is covered. Clear? Next is solution. Next we will study what is solution, their property, their type. So next topic is your solution. Now what is solution? A solution is something that is it is a mixture. Basically solution is a mixture. Clear? Solution is a mixture, and it is a homogeneous mixture of two or more substances. Solution is a homogeneous mixture of two or more than two substances. So we will write it is a homogeneous mixture. It is a homogeneous mixture of two or more substances. It is a homogeneous mixture of two or more substances. This is a solution. Now solution has two parts. One is your solute and the another one is your solvent. Solution has two parts. One is your solute and the another one is your solvent. So you can write solution equals to solute plus solvent. This has two parts. Solution equals to solute plus solvent. Now what is solute and what is solvent? Now solute is a substance which is dissolved in solvent. Solute is a substance which is dissolved in a solvent. For example, you are dissolving salt in sugar. So salt will be your solute because you are dissolving you are dissolving salt in a solvent. Clear? So a substance which is dissolved in solute, a substance which is dissolved in solvent will be your solute. A substance which is dissolved in solvent, a substance which is dissolved in solvent will be your solute. For example, if you are dissolving salt or if you are dissolving sugar in water, then salt and sugar will be your solute and water will be your solvent. Clear? So solute is a substance which is dissolved in solvent, a substance which is dissolved in solvent, that is your solute. For example, like salt, sugar, when dissolved in water, or you can say salt, sugar can be dissolved in water, but you can say salt and sugar dissolved in water. Just write dissolved in water. So salt and sugar is your solute and water is your solvent. Now what is solvent? Solvent is a substance. Solvent is a substance or you can say it is a liquid part of solution in which the solute is dissolved. You can say the solvent is a liquid part or solution part in which a substance is dissolved, or you can say in which a solute is dissolved. That is your solvent. Clear? So we can write solvent, it is a liquid part, generally liquid part of solution, in which a substance is dissolved. Here the substance is solute, because solute is dissolved in solvent. So solvent is a liquid part of solution in which a substance is dissolved or in which solute is dissolved. For example, like water, it is a solvent. Water is a solvent. Clear? So this is your water is a solvent. So this is your solution. One is your solute and the another one is your solvent. Clear? So this is so what is solution, and the two parts of solution, one is solute and another one is solvent. Now there are some formulas regarding this solution, solute and solvent, because these formulas will be used for answering the numerical questions. Just write the formulas. So the first formula is how to find concentration of solution. If you want to find concentration of any solution, how will you find this? So formula is concentration of solution. How you will find concentration of any solution? Now concentration of solution, the formula is amount of solute, because solution has two parts, solute and solvent. Amount of solute divided by amount of solution into 100. Amount of solute by amount of solution into 100, or you can say amount of solute divided by amount of solvent into 100. Clear? So these there are two formulas. Any one you can use to find concentration of solution. Any one formula you can use. That is amount of solution, amount of solute by amount of solution into 100, or amount of solute divided by amount of solvent into 100. This is the concentration of solution formula. If you want to find concentration of any solution, just put the values at the respective places and multiply it with 100. You will get the concentration of solution. So there are two formulas to find concentration of solution. Any one formula can be used. Next formula is how to find mass by mass percentage of a solution. How to find mass by mass percentage of a solution. When I will solve numericals, then this formula will be used. Now just note down these formulas. Mass by mass percentage of a solution. The formula is your mass of solute. Data will be given in your question. Mass of solute divided by mass of solution. Into 100. Mass of solute divided by mass of solution into 100. This is the formula of mass by mass percentage of a solution. And the last formula, third is your, just note down this formula. Third formula is how to find mass by volume percentage of a solution. This is mass percentage, and the third formula is your how to find mass by volume percentage of a solution. That is, the formula will be your mass of solute divided by volume of solution into 100. Mass of solute divided by volume of solution into 100. Clear? So these are the formulas. These formulas will be used for answering the numerical questions. I will solve numericals in the last part, that is the lecture 3rd, and the rest of the topic, and the chapter will complete. So that's all for today. In the next session we will solve exercise questions, some numericals, and the rest of the topic, and the chapter will be complete. Clear? Thank you.